It is with heavy hearts and saddened hearts that I greet all Nigerians viewing this program today. On 3rd of June 2012, a tragedy befell the nation of Nigeria. A fatal accident took place, killing 158 people, some of whom are relations and friends. We at the Ministry of Aviation will continue to mourn this horrible accident. This incident has not only touched our hearts, not only hurt us, but has given us even a greater and a bigger purpose to quadruple our efforts in ensuring that Nigerian airspace remains as safe and even safer than it is. And the overall aviation activity should continue to rank amongst the highest in Africa, indeed the rest of the world. We have commenced on lots of programs and activity towards accomplishing that. And so our journey and the journey with us will continue to transform Nigeria as a nation, Nigeria aviation in particular, and ensuring that safety first, as we know it in aviation, prevails. We'll continue to assure Nigerians that our key word remains to operate safely and to fly with safety. That's our priority word. I will continue to thank Nigerians for their patience in waiting for the result of the investigation. Aviation is based on factual. The report we will get will be factual, and we will do the needful. Most importantly, the system will be enhanced. Regulatory bodies and authorities will be enhanced, and all the recommendations will be fully implemented. I thank every single one of you for your condolence, for your encouragement, and for your support. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Aviator. Coming up, the Honorable Minister for Aviation, Princess Stella Adua, goes on a tour of facilities at some of the airports to check the progress of the ongoing remodeling work being carried out in airports across the country. The Director General of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, Anthony Anuforum, speaks exclusively to the Aviator on his parastatal's role in servicing the Nigerian aviation industry, in addition to other sectors of the country's economic landscape. On our industry reports, Air Nigeria commences long-haul flights as Chachangi Airlines concludes plans to receive its 2 aircraft that have been abroad on extensive overhaul. The Minister of Aviation at the ministerial briefing in Abuja. Stay with us as we return shortly.
We all have dreams of the very best for our children. We strive to bequeath to them a better future. But how can we if they are not safe? How can we if terror drives away investment and leaves our economy in shambles? How can we if our children cannot go to school for fear of terror? How can we if they can't play and interact freely without segregation? The future of our country and our children is under threat, and we need to do something urgently. Speak up, say something against terrorism. Act now. This is a message from Neighbor to Neighbor Network.
In line with the President Goodluck Jonathan's transformation agenda, the Honorable Minister of Aviation, Princess Stella Adua, is not resting on her oars in bringing about the complete turnaround of the Nigerian aviation industry. Her master plan for a world-class aviation industry for the country has literally moved from an idea and a dream to men and women working dedicatedly to meet deadlines on the first phase of the master plan. Recently, she took a tour of the facilities undergoing remodeling work and in some cases, the erection of a completely new structure. The minister was accompanied by the Directors General of NCAA, NAMA, NIMET, NCAT and AIB, as well as agencies, directors and the media. 11 airports, Lagos, Abuja, Jos, Kaduna, Port Harcourt, Kano, Benin, Bauchi, Zaria, Calabar and Yola are currently undergoing remodeling work as part of the first phase of the aviation industry's transformation agenda. Upon completion, work will commence on 11 other airports across the country with plans for the construction of 4 new airports in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt and Kano. At the end of the tour of the Benin and Kano airports, the Honorable Minister could not help but share her delight at the frequency of the work being done.
I'm happy for Nigerians, I'm happy for the passengers, and I think Nigerians should really be thankful for what President Goodluck Jonathan has for Nigeria. He means well, has good intention, and truly wants to transform, and that's what he's doing in aviation.
Responding to questions from the press, the Honorable Minister had this to say about meeting the deadline and her belief in the transformation process.
Most of the jobs are done already. What is left is the aesthetics and the internal works. But those are not really major. The major ones were done, we're over with. So I'm happy. What I think is very critical here is the fact that transformation is possible and is doable. All that is required is peace. When we have peace, we can transform. This administration means well, wants to transform, intends to transform, and will definitely transform. What we have seen here is a testimony to that effect. What we have seen here is a testimony to the fact that some people are just mean-spirited and very narrow-minded, and truly they don't like this country. Because the only challenge we've gotten has been to the effect that transformation is not possible, it's not doable, but it is doable. If we truly love this country, then we should believe that it is doable. It's only we transform or we perish. The choice is ours.
You are watching The Aviator. Still to come, NIMET and its role in providing safe airspace for the country.
As a result of the positive influence brought about by the energy of the transformation drive in the aviation industry, championed by Honorable Minister Princess Stella Adua, nothing but the best news is coming out of the industry. Air Nigeria became the second Nigerian indigenous airline operator to join the ranks of the long-haul international flyers from Nigeria, the first being Arik Air. This became possible by the arrival of Air Nigeria's newest addition to its fleet of aircraft Sunday evening, May 13, 2012. It is the Airbus A330-200 series. Its median flight to London Gatwick successfully took place on Wednesday, May 16, 2012. This development is coming at the heels of a successful 2-year turnaround period under the supervision of businessman Dr. Jimoh Ibrahim, who had acquired it under the defunct name of Virgin Nigeria. and within this time registered it as a presence to be reckoned with internationally under the new brand name Air Nigeria. In the same vein, Chochengi Airlines has also concluded plans to receive its 2 new aircraft that have been abroad on extensive overhaul. In a brief chat with the airline's head of commercials, the airline has called all hands to deck in an effort to consolidate its local routes.
Under the watch of the Honorable Minister of Aviation, the buzzwords in the aviation sector have been safety, safety, and safety. The Nigerian aviation industry faced its greatest challenges in 2005 to 2006 due to several aircraft accidents. These accounting for less than 1% of the world total aircraft movement and yet claiming more than 30% of total fatalities.
Some of the past aviation accidents and incidents, one way or the other, some fingers have pointed towards weather. Not that we failed to provide the information, but ours is to provide the information, but how it is used is outside our own control.
Viewed as an unacceptable level of safety for the industry by the Nigerian government, the Ministry of Aviation in the last year invested immensely in the turnaround of NIMET, positioning it to play a pivotal role in the attainment of improved safety in the aviation industry through the provision of accurate and reliable weather reports. At a point, a survey revealed that most of the infrastructure and key instruments needed to gather vital weather were either performing poorly or had broken down totally.
As part of our effort to turn things around, we had now embarked on aggressive improvement of operational infrastructure. We have what we call meteorological enclosure. These are weather observatories. That is the most fundamental unit of our operation. That is where the weather variables are read, are measured on hourly basis. Now, before now, we had about 36 of these weather observatories spread across the length and breadth of this country. We carried out a survey about 4 years ago to really establish some sort of audit, to really establish our operational capacity, the state of our instruments that we use for monitoring weather. We found out, very sadly, that at that time, because we are saying then and now, at that time, only 2 of our stations scored up to 60% of instrument availability. Only 4 scored up to 50% of instrument availability. So the question is, what were we doing? So we now embarked on aggressive re-instrumentation of our weather observatories. That we have achieved. And I can tell you with all sense of humility that today we now have not the 36 we had before, out of which only 4 were somehow operational. We now have 56 weather observatories. Now you may wonder, what is the importance of the number? The density of these observatories is very key to accuracy of the weather information or the weather forecast you produce. So today we have 56 weather observatories, and I can tell you that most of them are operating, if not at 100% instrument availability, something near that.
Key elements of Vision 2020 and President Goodluck Jonathan's transformation agenda are sensitive to safety, with weather and climate variables playing important parts. In line with this, projects, programs and policies initiated by the NIMET management are therefore designed to provide accurate and timely weather information to support the safety goals of the aviation industry and other key sectors in the country.
The quality of our data is now better because we have better equipped weather observatories, and we must say thanks to what government is doing for us. There are cutting-edge technologies we have now deployed. You saw the Doppler weather radar. The Doppler weather radar you saw there was commissioned just in October. It was completed within the lifetime of this government. This is the one in Abuja here. There are supposed to be 6 of them. The next one that is almost ready to go is that in Port Harcourt. After that, we'll have one that will be in Yola, another one that will be in Maiduguri, another one that will be in Kano, and then Lagos. Now, wind shear alert system. Wind shear is one of the most deadly hazards, for an aircraft, especially when it is at the stage of taking off or landing. Wind shear simply means sudden change in speed and direction of wind. That's basically what it is, and it could be a very challenging thing to grapple with in the air, especially at takeoff and landing. Before now, we had only the airport in Abuja equipped with wind shear alert system. So the wind shear alert system is a high-tech equipment that detects the occurrence of wind shear, especially at low level during takeoff and landing. If it detects that there is wind shear, it sends out an alarm. This alarm is relayed to the control tower. The control tower warns the pilot, and in fact they wouldn't allow him to approach when there is wind shear. So some of the time when you see hovering, just exercise patience. They are working for your safety. We are working for your safety. So before now, there was wind shear alert system only in Abuja Airport. But as of today, we now have the wind shear alert system in Lagos Airport, in Kano Airport, in Port Harcourt Airport. And before the end of this year, we shall have at least 4 more airports in this country with wind shear alert system. Now, the next one is a system we call Integrated Aviation Weather Observing and Display System. You must have seen it in Lagos and probably here. The sensors are deployed around the runway to monitor various parameters, various weather parameters, the exact weather condition around the runway. The pilots need the information for landing or for taking off. We have already completed the one in Lagos. That in Port Harcourt is ongoing, and the installation will also take place. We have acquired the equipment, and the installation will be completed hopefully before the end of this year at 6 other airports in Nigeria. We talk about the upper air station. I'm sure you must also have visited the upper air station. Very interesting. All these other measurements, all these other parameters we are measuring are within on the surface of the earth. And when we say surface, from ground to maximum 10 feet or 10 meters above the ground. But beyond that, what is happening? So that is referred to as upper air.
We are at upper air section. This upper air section means where you can get the elements you use in NIMET at the upper level. We use 30 grams to detect out the wind and force direction at the atmosphere over there. We inflate it with hydrogen gas. After using that, and we normally do it every day, 7 a.m. in the morning. 12 noon, we have 350 grams balloon, which is being inflated with hydrogen gas also, but attached to with a transmitter. The transmitter will now be relating back into a system called Digicora. The Digicora will be receiving the relative humidity, pressure, temperature, wind and force. From there, you can now know the level of where you are going to start to have a weather. That is what we do at upper air section.
We all have dreams of the very best for our children. We strive to bequeath to them a better future. But how can we if they are not safe? How can we if terror drives away investment and leaves our economy in shambles? How can we if our children cannot go to school for fear of terror? How can we if they can't play and interact freely without segregation? The future of our country and our children is under threat, and we need to do something urgently. Speak up, say something against terrorism. Act now. This is a message from Neighbor to Neighbor Network.
As part of activities marking Nigeria's Democracy Day and also the first year anniversary of the Goodluck Jonathan administration, the federal government organized the Ministerial Platform, a show and tell forum for the nation's serving ministers. Monday this week was the turn of Aviation Minister Princess Stella Odua to take the stand and tell the nation what her nearly 1 year in office has brought to the table in Nigeria's governance. For the minister, it was, as some would call it, a show of a sweet success story, as one achievement after the other were enumerated. Worthy of note among the achievements were the equipping and the upgrading of the Nigerian School of Aviation Training Technologies area, and also the enforcement of the best safety standards yet witnessed in the industry.
As you know, we have the best aviation training center in Africa. Our aim is to make it the best in the world. And through collaboration and using BASA as well, we are on our road towards accomplishing that. If you do have anybody that wants to be an aviator, please don't hesitate. Send them to Zaria, the best school in Africa.
The minister told the gathering that already work was going on in 11 of the nation's 22 airports in what she called Phase 1 of the project. The second phase, which covers the remaining airports, is expected to commence by the end of the year. The minister's pride was in the cost at which the remodeling of the infrastructure was done.
And so we took them in phases. The first phase, we took 11 airports, which we are just about completing. And the second phase, we take another 11 airports. And in addition to the 11 airports, you will have cargo airports to be added to those, and all the infrastructures that go with that.
The minister further revealed that her reasons for the determined efforts at turning around the deteriorating state of the country's airport infrastructure was to improve its revenue base, currently running at about 70 billion naira annually, a figure she considers greatly inadequate.
By the year 2013, aviation will contribute 3% and above to national GDP, never done before.
Increase in revenue, she said, would be achieved through concessioning, the BASA agreements, which will now include economic gains for countries involved, especially Nigeria, and the total remodeling of the whole airport infrastructure. The minister states that this is expected to move the current revenue base to about 120 billion naira annually, contributing about 3% to Nigeria's GDP by 2013. Also on her to-do list, Princess Stella Oduah made strong arguments in support of the 4 newly proposed international airports to be built in Lagos, Kano, Enugu and Port Harcourt, the aviation city aptly referred to as Aerotropolis, and the 7 agro-zone airports to be located in various parts of the country.
His Excellency, Mr. President, also granted us graciously the approval to construct 4 brand new international airports. We are starting that immediately. These airports will be Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Kano. These are huge. They run between 20 to 50 square meter airports of any international standard. It's never been done before.
She promises Nigerians that plans are already underway to reintroduce a Nigerian national air carrier as a cap on the icing of the transformation of the aviation industry.
Want to make sure that you have a national carrier of your own that flies Nigeria, that says we are the big elephant, that says we are the giant of Africa. We will fly that.
Speaking about the much-needed push, government is planning to avail the country's local airline operators, Princess Oduah says.
We are working in collaboration with financial bodies like CBN and other financial institutions to ensure that they have access to long-term facility that has single-digit interest rate. That is the only way we can keep them in business. And we're working towards that. It's an accomplishment.
Given the foregoing evidence of transformation already witnessed in the industry and words of encouragement streaming in from the diaspora who were watching the briefing live, there can be no denying that Nigeria is once again regaining its lost glory, not just as the giant of Africa, but as a true leader in the developing world.
Barely 2 weeks ago, on the 3rd of June 2012, a Dana aircraft carrying 153 passengers and crew from Abuja to Lagos crashed about 11 nautical miles from the Lagos airport, killing all passengers and crew on board, as well as an unknown number on the ground. To ascertain the cause with the aim of forestalling future occurrences, the federal government has set up a technical panel headed by retired Group Captain Engineer Abakpalo to investigate administrative, operational and safety practices of not just Dana Air, but of all domestic airlines in Nigeria. That's it on the Aviator this week. It's been Nina Ene, and as always, remember, spread your wings and keep flying.